Welcome. Today is Wednesday, July 17th. Let's check out the news. I'm going to take a real quick look at what yesterday was because I don't remember. I wasn't paying that close of attention yesterday. Okay, we had retail sales, important. EcoFin meeting yesterday, also important. No EcoFin meeting today. There's this German 30-year bond auction, kind of important. We had 8:30 news. What do we do at 8:30? Nothing. Started to sell off. We've been selling off. What does our NQ look like? It's a sell-off, but it's a minor movement and in a downtrend. So that didn't really impact the market much. We have somebody speaking here, but that's at an event, so not too worried about that. Although that's good to know. Keep that in the back of our mind. Nothing major for the day other than this crude oil inventories. Take a look at tomorrow. Unemployment tomorrow morning, important. This press conference is important. I don't know how long it'll last, but hopefully it is over by the time the market is open. So it's about 45 minutes, so it should be. We'll see. And then some speakers, probably at conventions or whatnot. So nothing big. And let's take a quick peek at Friday. Just probably more conventions and conferences, or yeah. So nothing major for the rest of the week, which is not always bad or good. You have some morning news. We'll see how that plays out. Been working on this new idea for NinjaTrader, and it's not my idea. It's this. It's a paper that was published in May of 24 by Carlo Andrea. What it describes is coming up with noise bands over a certain number of days and then testing trading styles when you're outside of that noise band. And then there's some adjustment factors. There's a little bit of VWAP considerations. Let me pull up a chart and just show you kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, so up in top, you see BandZab. That's just all the initials of their last names. This one is from 930 to 1600. That's what they originally published in their paper. And so that's the one, the dates I'm starting with. But I'm also testing an idea over here that's looking at from 930 to 11. But let's start with this. So there's a couple things that can happen. We care about the open to the close from 930 to 1600. The open, the close, the high and the low. So when the market opens, what we do is we take the absolute value of the high minus the low, more or less. And then you kind of average that over the last X number of days. They use 14. And then you do some, you can, I think it's based on the open. Let me see if I have it open still. Damn, well, give me 1 second. So the absolute move is the absolute value of the close divided by the open minus 1. And then you sum that over, 14 days and divide it by 14 to get an average. And then you can do an upper bound of open times 1 plus that average, or the open times 1 minus that average for the lower bound. You can then account for an overnight gap. So we stop at 1600, right? And the market keeps trading because it's futures. And you can see the lines just go straight right at 1600 because there's no new highs, new lows. So you're not changing that absolute value. Was it the absolute movement? But what you can do is if you take the max of the current open or the close of the prior session. So if we're right in this day, the open or the close at 1600, whichever one's the max, multiply by 1 plus the average of those 14 days that we're talking about. That's the new upper bound that's adjusted for the gap. And you kind of do the same for the lower bound, but you do the min instead of the max for the open and the close. And then one other thing you can do that they did and they suggested or had some stats on, I don't know if they necessarily suggested it, is you have a volatility multiplier that you can add in. And so in that upper and lower bound calculation, I had that first part, which was either the open, or if you adjusted for the overnight, it was the max of the open or the prior close for the upper bound, times, okay, so we're going to focus on that time, the next piece of the times, 1 plus the volatility multiplier times that average that we were talking about. They suggested that the best return for the volatility multiplier was about 1.5. Just want to look at, I'm trying to find the graph again. They had a nice graph in here in the paper. Yeah, so 1.5, nope, I didn't pass it. The 1.5 gave really good results. 1.3 also gave really good results when we're looking at a Sharpe ratio. The total return 0.9 gave really high returns, and also 1.3. So actually 1.3 might be the better of them if I'm looking at this right, especially if we do it on a more intraday basis. So 1.3 to 1.5, just based on what I'm looking at in these charts. So right here, this is the upper bound, okay, and then this one up here is the upper bound, but with a volatility multiplier applied to it, right? And we can do the same down here. This is the 9:30 to 11 o'clock one. It's the same upper bound, right? And then upper bound with the volatility multiplier. And so their general trade method kind of goes like this that they tested. I want a good example just to show you. So if you would sell outside these bands, right, the lower, so either one of these two, depending on which one you're testing or trading, and then you put your stop at a couple different places. You could put it at the opposite noise band channel. You could put it at the noise band channel. You could put it at the VWAP. But one of the things they suggested, and they had pretty good results in their paper, was if you're short, like right here, right, you're going to put it at the minimum of, what is it, the VWAP or the other band. I wasn't planning on necessarily testing this as a part of a strategy, was more so just trying to figure out how to even get the noise bands, and I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking of potentially using this in analysis. So for a short, it would be the min of the lower band or the VWAP. For the long trailing stop, it would be the max of the upper band or the VWAP. And when they entered, it also looked like, I don't know if they entered immediately when it was above, but it looked like they allowed it to get a little bit higher than just immediately. So like some sort of offset, kind of. I haven't read the full paper past the calculations. I just skimmed the rest of it. So generally that's kind of the concept. If we go to like a much smaller time frame, because I like 9:30 to 11, what we could potentially start looking at is how does that shake out. So let's just go back to this past day. Well, the first thing is this is the I put a midline in here. The midlines are going to stay constant because the noise bands pretty much contract and expand together, so that midline stays the exact same. But pretty much using this as like a balance point. Is the market above or below that, right? That would be the first thing. And then we can look at the VWAP. Is the VWAP above or below it? And then also we can look at it as the VWAP going up or going down. And then we could potentially look to trade a breakout down by the bands down here, or a breakout by the bands down here. We go back another day. You see VWAP above balance, price above balance, potentially trade a breakout in this area or breakout in this area. That's not going to work every single time. I'm sure of that. So like here, you know, price is kind of above, VWAP's above, but it's also pointing down. We have about 1 minute until the market opens. Price sells off, price is below, but VWAP is still above. And it kind of, you know, works its way over and down and down and down. So, you know, that's not perfect, but it would have been, you would have had to use some discretion to get into that. Here's another one that would have worked out. This didn't touch it. No trades. This right here, if you would have had to wait for it to close above it, or if you put like a resting buy there, you probably would have gotten hurt. But generally that it caught the correct direction of the market. Correct direction, correct direction. Correct direction for a little bit, right? Correct direction for a little bit for that really big move, and then it came back, and then it kind of caught that other direction in the opposite side. Correct direction for a little bit, came back, rested right near balance, came back up in the correct direction. Generally, if you were getting long, you would have been correct direction as long as you weren't buying at the high. So let's take a look at what the market's doing here. We're in this downtrend right now. Pretty much everything is pointing down. Getting a bounce back up though. Let's see if that sustains. I'm guessing not. If the top bar closes up, we're going to cancel that one. So where are we on the NQ? We are, so 300 is right up here. We crossed 300, it came down, tested it, came back down. So it may be deciding if it wants to come back up and test 300 again. We shall see. For the $70 short on Legends. I was a little late on the entry. Got short right around 48.50, and then moved down. I moved to stop to break even plus whatever $70 ends up being over two contracts. That took me out. Getting a pretty decent bounce here, but we're right in the 50 range on the NQ. Yes, it's kind of coming through the zone right here, so we could be getting a little bit of a deeper retrace. But also sometimes it's just like, hey, you know, we hit enough people stops, let's continue downwards. So we'll see. I'm back down. The NQ anyways, we'll see if the ES follows suit. Oh, nope, bouncing back up pretty sharply. Yes, it's kind of just like taking off, isn't it? Market's crazy right now. A CKR, I'm waiting for the 80 range to see if that thing will turn back down. It's up right now, but it's been moving down. So it's kind of double, triple bottoming right here. Kind of like that little pattern at the bottom, but that doesn't mean anything because the market still has enough momentum and volatility right now. It could just tear right through that. These are looking like $80 is looking like it wants to turn back down. Although this, after this up move and down move with this congestion right here, then it kind of just like chopped down. Could be a fake out. Let's see. It's a great thing about trading, good and bad thing about trading. You don't have to be right all the time, because when you think you're not going to be right, you shouldn't be trading. The 80 would have to close down to, let's go back up. So this here, so you had the 80 range change at 9:35, and then you had the change at whatever time this is here, 9:39 up. That would have been a technical long. Because of the way we're moving, I didn't even entertain that. So 80 range is going back down. Gonna see what this 40 range does. It almost feels like if it wants to go down, it's gaining contract. But also, with how much chop, they could be doing the same to the top side. I have no idea what it wants to do right now. And the ES is kind of, it went up and it's kind of just like hanging out. Where the NQ went down, ES is just kind of hanging out. So I don't know if the ES is going to follow the NQ or the NQ is going to follow the ES back up. ES is pushing up a little bit right now. See, it's kind of pushing up from like down this area, right? So not a lot, but well, pretty much a break even on Bulenox, and it looks like my Legends went to profit target, so I'm up 447 on Legends, $31 on Bulenox. No trades on Precision yet. I'm trading a little bit more conservatively. Even though I have that one account where it's more aggressive, yes, I know that. And also, I was taking this short here. I didn't want to take it on Precision and Bulenox and Legend. Let me close down Legends. That's good enough for today on that. That account should be, what is that account at? I really dislike TradeDebate. I really dislike this platform. Like the ES is finally starting to follow suit on the NQ. Just one of the dashboard on okay. As of yesterday, my profit balance was at I'm gonna have to ask them about this because in their charts I see a current balance of 51,283, but on the account dashboard I see an account balance of 51,33. And I'll get into the legend trading in a little bit more in a minute. But I don't know which one's right. But let's call it 51,300 because that's kind of right in the middle. And then I'll also round down from 4470, 447 to 400. So we should be at 1,700 in profit on Legends after today. And that should be 4 days. The 4 days. We need 10 days. We need to be above 52,600. And I forget the minimum required withdrawal. Okay, so let me just close that stuff up. Maybe one more second. This could have been a trade here, but I don't like how we moved up on this retracement here. I don't like how we moved down, and I don't like how we moved up. It was very, very choppy. So I passed on that one. It would have been break even trade because it would have went to 5 points, and I would move to break even. So it would have been break even enemies, which is fun. Let's take a look at noise bands. How noise bands are doing. The new one. This is, we're in noise, and then the full day one, we're in noise. Shut down Bulenox and Legends Trading. A long way to go on the Bulenox ones because I've pretty much gotten break even almost every single trade on all the accounts except maybe like 1 or 2 trades. I don't like this. You see all these wicks here and it's just kind of going sideways. Not a great sign. But we might do something here. We'll see what it does. Go see what the ES is doing at the same time. Nope. Not doing anything there. Don't like that enough to take that, but that would be a short at 925. Even though this is turning up, you see the 80 range is like starting to turn down. So even if that had turned up, that 80 range we see starting to turn down, you're not going to take that. So if you're trying to trade the CKR and you see that discrepancy between the 80 and the 40 range in real time, you don't take a trade. You wait. Be patient. Kind of like it's doing right now. See, it just turned up, but with that 80 range potentially turning down, we don't like that. Like that would have been a very technical, yes, based strictly on the rules and no additional thought put into it. It would have been a long at 1875. You would want to break even because it got up to 5 points. May have stopped you out. You may have gotten lucky. Bad trade though. Bad trade. Even though we're kind of like going up, and yes, I know people are going to have different views of the market and what the market's doing, but the way I look at it personally is there's too many downtrends. There's two, look, that's all down, and yes, there could be a reversal. Those are all down. The clouds are all down. And look at the 80 range just grinding sideways, diagonally down. Grind. Yes, and it's breaking out now, but you don't have to take that. You don't have to force it. Just wait. Because it could have just easily popped up, came straight back down. Right? Hindsight is 2020. We only know now that it popped back up like that. See where we're at. So we're still below this balance area here. You know, we haven't tested it enough, but like the VWAP's down, balance area is down. 197 is like the first noise band area low. VWAP is still like way above here, you see. So VWAP's way above. We're getting back into the 5-minute opening range on the NQ. Do have some shorter term trend changes on the ES. See here, this is kind of went through this cloud, came back, tested it, came back out. My balance is way up here though, at 93.50. Long way to go. Could make it back there. This short at what, like you would have had to add into that one. I said it was a bad one. Users look like it looks gross. Whenever we start seeing a whole bunch of signals like this grouped together on any indicator, generally it's not a good sign of what's happening in the market. Let me just pull back up what's going on here. One of the things I'm thinking of potentially considering is drawing like a zone right below here. I don't know, maybe a few points below here, and then maybe like a 50 line here. And then if it gets in between like that lower zone and the 50 line, looking to see if that tweezer setup has a higher probability, assuming that both of these trends are both down, and then also on the other one, these both are down. Or potentially even just waiting for like, okay, so at this time at 9:35, we had the lower channel at 964. At 9:35, so it was the same. Those looked the exact same. So that wouldn't. I was gonna say overlay this one on this one, but it doesn't look like it matters. So we won't even explore that any further than that thought. But yeah, so your signal, you would have had to add into that, and you could have gotten out. This was generally terrible for the day. There were no setups on this one. There was a setup 9:35. I didn't take it. It would have been a high anxiety trade. So the bottom right, we're not going to take any more on. There was this right here, the setup. We talked about that. Not going to look for anything else. Not on that one anyways. They're doing a pretty good job of defending that 20,200 level, just below us here on these charts. Yes, it's sideways. Like a sideways up. Sideways from the last like up move. It's still up, and it's up higher than the NQ. I do have a potential long if the ES were to get above 677.50 and the ES and the NQ was below 308.50. I would get long at 308.50 on the NQ if it made it up that far. But that's a lot of things that would need to happen. Yeah, so the legend trading. So I'm gonna do a review of legend trading. So make sure you go to the website The Legend Trading and not Legend Trading, because they're two different companies. But with the Legend Trading, the Legend Trading, they go by Legend Trading and also Legend Trading Group. You see, so we're still in a downtrend. So hopefully no one was getting long today, because we're just smacking it down here. The legend trading, when you go So when you go from, I forget where I was. Let's just start over. When I went from, so this is a good story. Let me just, this has a happy ending, I feel like, which doesn't always happen. All right, so let me just reset everything, give you the full story of what happened. I'm going to do a review of the company on the site. It will generally be a positive review. I say generally, it will be it's going to be a positive review because I've had a good experience, except for that one thing. It was fixed, so I consider that a positive outcome. Plus some other additional things happened, so I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm happy. I'm bullish and positive on the company. So let's just get into it. When I went from evaluation to master account, they send you the rules. You know, pretty straightforward. The last sentence of the email was like, hey, cancel your evaluation account so you don't get rebuilt, right? And I may have read it, I don't know, I didn't read it, but there's like, you know, bullet points of what to do above that. So I could have stopped at the bullet points, I don't know. So you know, they send you a document to sign. I think their master account agreement is on the slimmer side compared to other companies, right? Because they don't have as many crazy rules. I think it's more straightforward. It's not as invasive as, say, like an Apex agreement, where they're like, hey, we can inspect and watch you on video and expect you to record yourself and all that kind of stuff that's in their PA agreements. You can go to NexusFi and you can see them talk all about that. There's like a whole, they've kind of gotten crazy on, talking about it. So go there, check it out. That's all I'll say on that. But the Legend Trading, their master account agreement, I think is fair, reasonable, easy process. Once you do that, then they give you a 50% discount code to go in and rebuy one of their plans, which is a little confusing at first, but once you figure it out, it's really simple. I think it's the right way to do things. And this is why. And you have to do this with other companies. If you go the monthly route, it's just a different mechanism of doing the same thing through other companies, right? So it's not really different from other companies. They don't have a lifetime. They might bring out a lifetime. I talked with him about that, my concerns with lifetime. My biggest concern being that whenever you have this lifetime fee, right, typically you have to trade, every 5 days, or you have to trade 12 days a month, or whatever it is. And those sort of extra pressures, from my personal experience, has made people trade worse, because they're worried about, how many days do I need to clock? I need to get, X number of days. And then they kind of force trades. They're not relaxed. They're not thinking clearly. They're more focused on, I need to trade a certain number of days, rather than I need to trade a good setup. So they may bring in the lifetime. One of his concerns, which I respected, was, from his perspective, it was more beneficial for him financially to do the lifetime, because most evaluation traders don't make it to their first payout, right? They blow their master account quickly. So if he offered a lifetime and it's like, 3 times as expensive as the monthly fee, or even twice, he's just collecting additional money from people. So in the long run, it would be cheaper for a successful trader, but because most people aren't successful, it's more beneficial to the evaluation companies to offer a lifetime fee on average, right? Not in all instances. We're not saying every instance. We're saying on average, on a whole, most people fail at trading. So if you offer a lifetime fee, it's going to be more beneficial for the company. And I agree, and I get, and it's part of the reason I also like the monthly fees. And I think their monthly fee, I know their monthly fee is cheaper, because monthly fees are typically like $85, at least the companies I've been at. Theirs is 50% of whatever their plan is. So like, let me just pull up their site real fast. So their 50K account is normally 185. What am I paying? Hold on, let me find out what I'm paying. I feel like I'm not paying that much. Let me just log in. Logging in. What are my subscription is $59.50 a month. Okay, so let's just call it $60. That's $25 cheaper per month, right? $25 cheaper per month than the other people out there, which I think is great. So, in a month, you're probably you either failed, you've lost a good bit of money, and you're losing your motivation, and you're getting worried and putting extra pressure on yourself. So it's going to be hard for you to turn it around. So eventually you're probably going to fail, unfortunately, or you're doing relatively good and you're probably going to make it to payout, or you crap the bed the second month and don't make it. Even the second month, you make it the second month, that's $120. That's still cheaper than a lot of the lifetime fees out there. So you can do 2 months if I did 2 months at $60, it's $120. That's cheaper than most of the other people out there, if not the cheapest out there, for 2 months compared to the lifetime, right? So it's not apples to apples, but I think within 2 months, you would generally know if you're in a master account of whether or not you're tracking for a withdrawal or you've already blown it. So I'm on the monthly fee is the way to go. And so going back to that email, you go in, you just start up a new plan, which is, like I said, is similar but different. They give you a discount code, and it's 50% per month. And I want to say that probably barely covers their cost, because we were also talking and he was laying out the cost for me, just, you know, because we were just chatting about a whole bunch of different stuff. Because they're also offering Tradeovate and NinjaTrader, there's obviously fees that go along with that. There's market data fees, there's processing fees from the credit card company. So all said and done, I think he was somewhere like between all in between like $30 and $50 per trader per account. So like he's making $10 a month off my subscription, if that, right now for the master account, which is a good thing. I think the less money these companies make off of subscriptions, the higher the incentive to make money off of good traders, which is what we want. That's what we want from companies. So you have to be really careful with some of the discount companies out there, because they try to push people into failing with all their different rules and stuff. So if you're evaluating companies, make sure you look at the rules and not just price. But anyways, going back, so I forget where I left off, but so they had the email. I went through the steps. I signed the document. I thought the document was reasonable. Nothing weird in there. Nothing concerning. It was probably shorter of the master account PA agreements I've seen. Sign that. You have 50% discount code. Go in, sign up for the same plan, build, and then the account gets set up. And then once it gets set up, it may take a day or two or whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? Because you're there, you made it to the master account, then you get your master account, and then you start trading, right? Straightforward. So what happened with me is I didn't do the cancel evaluation thing, because one, I maybe I read the last sentence, maybe I didn't. In any case, I think it was Sunday night, it rebuild. And so I immediately sent support a message asking if, you know, you could refund this. I didn't realize, you know, you had to, whatever. They didn't get back to me for a little bit. I refollowed up with them. They were like, no, we're not going to refund you. More on this. I have pretty good insight into why they were responding the way they were, and I'll get to it in a minute. So, you know, I sent an email back pretty much. It was, you know, probably threatening. I would say it was motivational, right? It was motivational because I wasn't getting the response that I thought was appropriate, given I responded like the same night on a Sunday when Rhythmic is like typically down, to ask for a refund. It wasn't like I was, you know, trading an evaluation account and then asked for a refund on it. Plus, you know, it's a new company. I'm like, you know what, they should just do the right thing and refund it. This is an honest mistake. And so that's kind of what my mindset was, right? And so Greg emailed me back, and we had a couple of back and forth emails. They say they were spicy, right? They were spicy for sure, which is okay. I get it. And then, you know, I sent him one email back, you know, part of my thought process, and he refunded me the evaluation, the rebill of the evaluation in full, right? And then he tried to give me a call a couple times that day. I think it was a Friday maybe, and you know, I emailed him back, said, hey, you know, what's going on? What do you want to talk about? And he said he just wanted to talk about some things they were thinking about changing, wanted to get my thoughts. And I said, great. You know, I was really busy that Friday, so I was like, you know, I could I'm just getting ready to take my kids to swim practice or something, and we were going to, my kid does swim practice on Fridays, so we were going to swim practice. I was wrapping up work. I was getting ready to try to get everyone ready out the door to go to swim practice, and I gave him some options for like Saturday or Monday. And so he was just like, let's just talk on Monday. And so we connected Monday afternoon, and we talked for like an hour. What happened, and I saw this happening from the get-go of when Legends started their big promotion. A big promotion, right? They're new, so any promotion is a big promotion. When Nexus Fi, they offered a free evaluation account. You've heard me talk about this before, to everybody, to all their elite members, right? Not everybody, to all their elite members. There's a difference, and I think this is important. It was one free evaluation account, right? That's it. One free evaluation account. Not two, not three, not four, one free evaluation account, which is awesome, right? Because you save, you know, even if even if it's $20 at another company that has 90% off, that's a free evaluation account that all you have to do is you can trade wild if you want to, and you lose no money. You just lose the time and effort and energy and, you know, emotions going into it. So I obviously took them up on that. What happened, and I could see this happening in a lot of the trading discords I'm a part of, is that code was getting passed around. It wasn't just elite members. It was like anyone who could get their hands on it was doing it. And he also told me that people were spinning up multiple accounts under multiple emails so they could have more than one evaluation account, which, you know, obviously, you know, people are going to do, which is why a lot of these companies have very strict rules on, like, if you have more than one login, meaning like you can log into our site in under more than one email address and it's the same person, we're going to close all of your accounts and you're going to forfeit all of your money, right? So it's a known issue out there, and I'm not surprised that he was experiencing it. I could have probably guessed that. Right, so whenever you get people trying to take advantage of the system, you're also probably going to have, you know, logically billing issues with these people. Even if they pass or try to sign up for additional accounts. And so, you know, they were experiencing, you know, huge influx of people that weren't elite members that were trying to take advantage of the company and the generosity of a free evaluation account. Right, they could have just done a 90% like everybody else, but they said, no, let's do a free account, you know, get our name out there, which, you know, I think people can appreciate. Too many people took advantage of it, and they, you know, blew their advertising budget pretty much, which is also understandable. I would have to guess, you know, let's say 1,000 people signed up, right? And I said maybe their costs are anywhere between $30 and $50 per person. That's 30 to 50K that they just gave away for free, right? They were like, here's, you know, a free 30 to 50K in evaluation accounts to people. And so obviously if you know, people are taking advantage of it and you can only give away so many free things, they changed the discount to 40%, which I think people didn't realize. It's like 40% on top of whatever the discount is on their website. It's like if they have 50% off on their website, and you can then throw another 40% on top of that 50%. So whatever that math comes out to, right? So they changed the promotion on Nexus Fi, which I think we can all agree and understand why they did it. They were very open about it too. Like, you can go on Nexus Fi, check it out. There's an AMA that he has that he talks about it, and it's really straightforward. It's like, you know, we had an advertising budget, and way more people signed up than we thought, and we went through our advertising budget, so we had to change how we were approaching things. Okay, got it. Thank you. Just, you know, open, honest, transparent communication is what we want from these companies, right? That's one of the biggest things that they can do. I forget where I was going with all this stuff, man. So anyways, we were talking on Monday. That was one of the things that came up. And And then, you know, one of the other change in process. So, you know, we're talking about the, you know, the cancellation of the evaluation account, and his thought process was they didn't cancel the evaluation accounts up front when you went from eval to master, in case you wanted to have another one at whatever discount you bought that one at, which I get, but you know, that's going to create a lot of headaches downstream because, you know, most people, I don't think most people operate in that manner where they're going to probably go out and buy, I want 5 accounts. So I'm going to buy 5 accounts and I want those to go to master. I'm going to trade those. And if I want more, then I'll buy more on top of that, not necessarily the other way around. So they're changing what they're going to do. They're going to just automatically cancel the evaluation account when you go from eval to master, because he also recognized, you know what, he's like, you're right. You will probably have a larger headache than what benefit traders are going to get if we don't cancel these evaluation accounts. It's like, yeah, you're right. You're going to get a lot of angry people. You're you know, probably going to get a whole bunch of like chargebacks, and it's just not going to be a fun process for anybody, and everybody's going to get frustrated, and then people are going to go and they're going to talk, and it's just easier to get ahead of that and just not let it happen. And then, you know, we talked about a whole bunch of other different ideas, where they're going, kind of what they're thinking of. One of the other very minor things, though, is on their dashboard. I was just talking to them about, you know, data feeds and stuff like that, and how their dashboard gets updated. And some of their account balances were updating in real time for me, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? It's it just, I wasn't expecting the dashboard to update part in real time, not part in real time, right? So it was like the current account balance was updating in real time, but the days remaining wasn't. And that's just because of how the API interacts with, you know, TradeAvator or whoever it is right behind the scenes. That API interacts from their website, interacts with this information, and it can only update based on what it receives. So if it's receiving, you know, current balance numbers, it's updating that. If it's not receiving days remaining until, you know, once a day or after a certain time period, then it updates based on that. So understood that. We just talked about it. I didn't tell him to change it. I just said, you know, like, I just noticed this. I don't know if you guys did it on purpose, but it just took me a couple of days to get used to. This week, everything's been updating at the same time. Like that current balance isn't updating in real time anymore. So I think they went in and they actually changed it to just update, you know, periodically, just have everything update all at once, which is, you know, probably on their servers, you know, once they get real big, you know, where they get real big in terms of where like they need their big to the point where, you know, how Apex needs their own rhythmic server, like something like that. They won't have these like constant updates from this API where it just updates once in a batch and it's done. Less server resources throughout the day. You know when it's going to update. So if there's an issue, you can just update everything all at once in a batch. And so I think that's probably a good change. I know, super minor, but my point is, I think the mentality of the Legends Trading Group is, I think they really do want traders to be successful, and I think they want to do things to help them be successful. So we also talked about going from, you know, eval to master account, which is still a sim account, right, to a true prop trading environment. You know, he wants to make sure people, when they go from master to prop trading, is in like a real live prop trading environment. And it's after, he said 3 months, but my guess is after 3 months of withdrawals. That would be my guess. I don't know what prop firm that would be. I didn't ask either. It could have something to do with his other partners or maybe one of his other ventures. But in any case, when I was with Apex, I was trading when I was live, right? Live. I was trading through a broker, but then I had to email Apex to get my withdrawal. So it's kind of, you know, I don't know, weird. It was still kind of commingled. His mindset is like, let's not commingle anything. So he has other companies like, I'm not going to commingle them with Legends. I'm not going to commingle the prop trading with Legends. They're all going to be their own separate entities. And then they have this plan of getting people that are successful, go live, do well in live, into the World Cup Trading Championship to try to get them subscribers. And that way you're not just making money off of, you know, what you trade in your live prop account, but people are also paying you to subscribe to your trades, which is cool. I like the idea. I think it will be interesting to see how they market it. And maybe they don't market it. Maybe it's just one of those things that you downplay and then people talk about behind the scenes once somebody makes it there, and then it gets people excited. Maybe they handle it that way. They're also going to be re-looking at their pricing to be more competitive with what the market's currently doing, because, you know, there's probably right now 30 or more of these valuation companies, and a lot of them have gone discount. And so I think we'll probably see some adjustments to their pricing that will be coming soon. So at the end of the day, I felt good after the call. They did the right thing. I understood where they were coming from. He understood where I was coming from. We had a really good conversation just about the industry and trading. And so I think they really want to do the right thing. I'm going to keep trading to see if I can get a withdrawal, if not more. I am still trading it more aggressive, right? I always was trading this account in a more aggressive fashion. I was trading 2 contracts instead of 1. And I was trading this pretty much the CKR and some others just a little bit more aggressively, right? I don't know how to say it, just more aggressively. But not so aggressively to where it doesn't make sense of the trades I'm taking. So, you know, like the trade I took earlier, all the trends were down. You know, we were chopping a little bit, so the choppiness made it aggressive. It wasn't a bad setup. It was still a good setup. So I still want to take good setups. I just, if there's, you know, like precision, I took no trades today because, you know, the market, I didn't like it. Well, on the Legends trading one, I took a trade because I had a good setup. I felt more confident than not in what was happening, and it worked out. So that's what I mean by aggressive. I don't mean reckless. I mean more aggressive, but probably more conservative by a lot of people. By if we look at how other people trade out there, it's probably still more aggressive compared to, or more conservative compared to. So, what's that? So I feel like I want to give them a chance. I want to see what I can make of that account. I would love to be able to take that account to a prop environment and do well in a prop environment, because I feel like if you get in a prop environment and you prove yourself, the potential amount of capital that you open yourself up to is far superior than anything you would experience in evaluation trading. And that's just a hunch of mine. I've never actually seen that, but I hope to experience that one day where I'm successful enough where they're just like, I want to give you tons of money to trade, right? Like that's the dream, right? That people just throwing money at you to trade because you're trading very, very well. I know that's a dream, but we can all dream and hope, right? And so we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to post about that. I think once they make those other changes, I think they're going to be very competitive. And they're also working on making sure their support staff is, you know, trained, treating people well, speaking to them appropriately. They may be coming out with a Discord. I talked with him quite a bit about that, of my thoughts on the Discord. I think Discord can be good, but you have to be very careful and methodic about how you implement that, because you could damage your reputation in an instant, right? If you get a mod in there who's banning people and, you know, treating people like buddies and joking around inappropriately, or just like, you know, you speak differently, or you communicate differently through text messages rather than like on a phone call or through email. It's the same for Discord, right? It's kind of like a text message. So but your mods are still a representation of your company. So if they're, you know, saying things they shouldn't, or saying it in a way they shouldn't, that's unprofessional, that's going to reflect poorly on the company. And so that's always been my concern with Discord, in addition to it makes people even lazier than they already are. So for example, you know, a lot of these Discords you get in, people are just like, what are the rules? What's the rule for this? What's the rule for that? So they're not going to the website to figure the rule out, right? So they're just relying on Discord and what people say. So you need to make sure your mods are they saying the right thing? How are they going to respond to these people? Are they going to give them the full rule, or are they going to give them a link to the website? So Discord is a good thing. Can be a good thing if you do it right and you really think about it beforehand of how you're going to do it. Like, I really like the support ticket systems that Discord has that you can add into it. I think that speeds up the support process. I think it's a nice way to communicate with people, to have announcements, to get information out there quickly, to promote discounts, to have a sense of community. As long as people are being respectful and all that, and you have enough mods, yada yada. Yeah, that wasn't everything we talked about, but that hits on a lot of the highlights. So I've never had one of these. I traded with a good number of these firms, you know, not all of them, but you know, enough of them that I've never had a CEO like, hey, let's chat, let's you know, implement some of this feedback. I've Discord messaged with some CEOs, and they're not very responsive in those, you know, which I get, but still, it's like, don't message people if you're not going to be responsive. Don't accept DMs. Like, but anyways, I think I beat that one to death. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. They do have a affiliate program. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and then I start talking about it again. They do have an affiliate program. I think I'm going to sign up for the affiliate program. I know nobody is watching my streams or going to my site yet, but I'm still going to probably get an affiliate code with them. So when people do watch or do read, it will be there for people to potentially use. And even if not that, then we will hopefully get some good links and link backs and get some better SEO. But, you know, see what happens. Let's take a quick look at these charts again, and then I'm probably going to call it there. There wasn't, I missed another setup at 950. Thing has just been straight down. Look at that. Same with this. Look at that. Straight down. Look at the tweezers. You know, we were talking about the tweezers up in the cloud or right below the cloud. Could have potentially taken some of these. We're not trading this. We're just looking at it. And then let's take a look at our noise band thing here. So this is the 930 to 11 one. So we had a break right here. That would have been a nice little setup. And then we had a break right here. Right here. So we'll see if it continues to break down. It did reject this 100 level. So pre-market it was at 300. Then we went down to 200. It broke that quickly, right? And didn't really look back, but there was a lot of fighting right above it. And then it went down to 100 and rejected right off of it. So, you know, that's a 200-point move from, let's see, like here at 850. So 2.5 hours. It's a lot of movement. We didn't take any trades on, I'll just show you. Right, nothing. No trades on Precision. Break even plus on Bulenox. And we got a winner on Legends. So overall, I'm happy. Decisions, even though I missed a couple trades today on Precision, the market was weird and choppy, and so I have no heartburn over actually missing those trades. It's not like we didn't take at least one good trade or two good trades on other accounts, which we did. This is why I'm trading these accounts in this rotational manner. And so at the end of the day, I'm happy. Hope everybody else had a great trading day out there, and I probably won't be on tomorrow. Let me check my schedule real quick. Probably trade tomorrow, but I don't know that I'm going to stream tomorrow. I don't know that I'm going to stream Tuesday and Thursday anymore. I might. No, I'm not gonna. I will not be streaming tomorrow, but Friday I will be. But I'll be trading tomorrow, streaming on Friday. Hope everybody had a good trading day, and if you're still trading, stay safe out there, and I wish you the best.